As you can probably tell by looking at our products, my favorite sweeteners to use personally are xylitol and stevia. Now, of course, with either of these, there's good and bad versions, right? So let's start with stevia. Many people have had bad experiences with stevia that have caused them to throw stevia out the window and say like, oh, stevia is gross or whatever, right? Or like, I can't handle the taste of stevia, or I just don't like the taste of stevia. The thing is that stevia has various different bitter compounds in it. These are called ribodiosides. So there's, for example, and they abbreviate that to Rib because pronouncing ribodioside for most people is absolutely no fun. So they call them Rib A, Rib B, Rib C, these different sweet compounds in stevia. And some have more of a bitter aftertaste to them. Some have less of a bitter aftertaste. The cleanest tasting of these is Reb A. It has the least bitter aftertaste. So stevia extracts or stevia concentrates that have the highest amount of Reb A and the lower amounts of the other ones are going to have the cleanest flavor. So we've had a lot of people that come to us and they say, oh, your products have stevia in them. I can't handle the taste of stevia. It's kind of funky. And I say, look, we have a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Why don't you just order like, 1 bar of chocolate or 1 or 2 packets of elixirs and give it a try. And we've also had this, back in the days when before COVID and we could be in stores sampling chocolate. We would have the same thing with people like, just give it a try. And for the vast majority of these people, they absolutely love it. And they're like, wow, I never knew stevia could taste so clean, and it actually is possible. Now, I have found that about 2% of people, approximately, just based on my estimations, are what are called stevia super tasters. That's not an official term, that's something I made up myself, but these are people who have, for some reason, developed taste buds in such a way that they're extremely sensitive to the flavor of stevia, and no matter how clean or pure the stevia is, it is not suitable for them, and they just will never enjoy anything that's stevia sweetened. That's just the way life goes. No food, no herb, nothing is going to be perfect for 100% of people, right? But I have found that many people who think they are stevia super tasters are not. They just have only had really bad quality stevia that doesn't taste good. So even if someone thinks they're a stevia super taster, it's worth having a really good high quality stevia product just to try to make sure you're not blocking out something that can be wonderful in your life for the wrong reason. So a really nice clean tasting stevia is great. It's not going to affect your blood sugar, and it definitely has some ancillary benefits to it. There have been rumors over the years that are really actually not true that it can affect fertility and affect female hormones. Not the case. We've actually made a whole video about that I'll put a link to as well. If you want to go off and explore that story even more. It doesn't cause problems in the fertility department whatsoever. You would have to eat basically like your body weight every single day. And even at that level, they still didn't find any problems in like animal studies, for example. So nothing to worry about. And then the other one would be xylitol. Now, xylitol, of course, can be made from a variety of things. The two most common are making it from corn and making it from hardwood, like birch. Definitely hardwood is the way to go because with the corn-derived xylitol, you are going to be at high risk of GMOs and Roundup and glyphosate and all kinds of things you don't want to put in your body that are really going to mess you up. Xylitol, similarly to stevia, has some ancillary benefits to it. It functions as a prebiotic. It's really good for dental health. It helps to kill some bad bacteria in the gut. So that's really good. Now, some people who have real gut issues and haven't had xylitol before, if you have a lot at once in your first go, you may get a little bit of like gas and bloating as a part of the bacteria die-off, but that usually tends to go away as you rebalance your gut microbiome. And so xylitol is a really cool one. Another nice one worth consideration is called kabocha pentose. It's a kind of a sugar coming from the kabocha squash. It's actually found in lots of food sources, but the kabocha squash is the easiest one to get it from. And there's a company that makes this called Bocha Sweet. And this, it tastes sweet. It actually is good for your mitochondria, but it doesn't affect blood sugar, which is really awesome. Some people get a little bit of digestive disturbance with that as well, but that's going to vary from one person to the next. So those are my favorite. On a rare occasion, I will have like maybe a little bit of a local wildflower raw honey. That certainly has immunological benefits to it, and done in moderation, I think can be really good. But that's kind of all I do sweetener-wise. there's so much you can do with these sugar-free sweeteners without having to add in excess sugar into your diet, that I think there's really no need to turn to other things like coconut palm sugar. Just to me seems totally unnecessary. Agave is an absolute joke because it's ultra high fructose. It's higher in fructose than high fructose corn syrup. So in terms of glycation, accelerated aging, etc., agave is absolutely not your friend. So I think with these sugar-free sweetener options, we've got everything we need. There's so much you can do, so much versatility. I love combining them. I find that sugary sweeteners have kind of, it's like if you are playing the piano and you play a chord of multiple notes that sound really nice together, their sweet profile is kind of like that. If you take the sugar-free sweeteners, they often are just like playing a single note, so it can be a little bit too narrow. But if you combine a few of them together, you can rebuild that chord and develop this whole well-rounded sweet flavor that seems like, and I shouldn't say seems, it is really delicious, as you guys have probably experienced in many of our products. So that's my favorite way to go.